This is the most complete watch I have ever come across, but it's got some flaws. Let's start the show. So that, guys, is the Tudor Pelagos Black. It is a fantastic watch. I absolutely love this thing. It's the second time I've owned one now. I owned the blue one back 3 or 4 years ago. It was a bit blue for me. Probably the more attractive watch, but it never went well with the straps and things like that. So yeah, it was a good watch. I enjoyed it. I kept it for quite a long time, but the truth is no one wanted to buy it on eBay. And I was probably looking back with rose tinted glasses when I picked this one up. I love the look of this watch. I think it's got everything I'd ever want in a watch. So when I look at watches, I look at micro adjustment, lume, in-house movement, power reserve, overall styling, looks. It's fantastic. It's got everything it needs. It's legible. It's good to look at. It's just a stunning watch, and that's one of the problems right there. So it's easy to go through the positives on this watch, to be honest. The bezel action is to die for. Oh, yeah, that's good. When you wind it up as well, it's buttery smooth. It is just like you're winding fresh air. It's crazy. It's absolutely fantastic. But I have got my reservations, and it's not quite the watch I want. And it's a shame, really, because I think this is the watch that if Rolex had never made dive watches, just imagine that Rolex had never made a dive watch and they were making one for the first time in 2020. This is the watch that they would come up with. This is the watch that they would design. I think technically it's a far better dive watch than the Submariner. The titanium, the matte finish, it's more legible, it's bigger so it's easier to read, but at the end of the day it's not a Submariner. I don't think it even comes close, in all honesty, but as a dive watch it is better. But let's be honest, who frigging goes diving in a dive watch? I've never been deeper than a bath. I don't even like taking it swimming because it might get wet. And you're probably thinking, oh, I haven't made a video for a while. Yeah, it's because my last video absolutely tanked. No one watched it, no one liked it. So you might think, oh well, he's taking his bat and ball on me, he's being a bit bitter. You're damn right I'm bitter. No, truth is, I've had a new job started in the last 3 weeks, so that's taken a bit of my attention. So I need to try and pretend I know what I'm doing in that. A bit like YouTube, really, just bullshit my way through it, and hopefully I'll be alright at the end of it. So let's take a closer look at the Tudor Pelagos and I'll tell you my thoughts. Right guys, so this is the box. I'm not going to go into it too much because, it's nice to get a good presentation box, but ultimately it's a complete waste of time. You should never judge a watch by its box. New saying for you there, guys. So you do get this attractive rubber strap in there, but I'll talk about that later. So the benefits. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. Good boy. So the good things about this watch are a creamy smooth. That is a really nice, clicky, firm but not too firm bezel. It's fantastic. It's loomed as well around here, and obviously it's so legible, it's so clear, it's so utilitarian, it's so tool-like, and that's a great thing. It's a tool watch. That's what people want out of a tool watch, but this is very, very tool. And I think for a lot of people it's too much of a tool watch for everyday use. Are you walking the dog in it? Yeah. Are you going running in it? Possibly. You could be going hiking. You might wear it for work, but you'd have to have quite an industrial job to rock that. I can't see me wearing that with a shirt and a pair of pants, or a shirt and a pair of jeans, really. Again, just opinions. People might have the Pelagos as a one watch in their collection, and do you know what? It is a fantastic watch, and if you could wear it in every environment, I can't. I think it's a brilliant watch. The lightness of it is just crazy. Wristwatch check, I'm wearing the Air King. Now that is an all-day, everyday watch. Wow. Hang on, I've got fingerprints on it. So yeah, it is a fantastic watch. This clasp is a micro adjustment to die for. You lift it up there and it just pops open, and you get different adjustments. So you start at the bottom there, and then you work it up to these 3 notches here, 1, 2, 3, and then this last one is spring loaded, so it'll move with your wrist, but ultimately I'd just rather have 3 or 4 more notches there, to be honest, than this spring thing, because I've never used it. It doesn't really work, so it's not ideal. The titanium tapered finish from 22 down is fantastic as well. It's a really nice fit and comfort. I'm going to go into the negative towards the end of the video because there's just so much to like about this that I shouldn't really complain too much about it. Helium escape valve, again, it's a nice touch and it shows that it is a serious dive watch, but ultimately it's not necessary. Is it better than the ones that stick out here on Amiga? Probably, yeah, because they're a bit of an eyesore then. So I'm going to do a Lume shot now. I've got my trusty little pen thing from eBay for £6, one of the greatest toys I've ever bought. And if I just charge it up and turn the light off, oh, look at that, just look at that. And it does, it's bright, it lasts, it's stunning. That is, oh my word, oh look at that. So yeah, fantastic Lume, and just charge it up for a good 10 seconds and you get your money's worth out of this, that's for sure. It's one of them when you've been outside in the sunshine, then you come into the room and it's dark and you're like, whoa, look at that. So yeah, Lume, top notch. You cannot argue with that Lume, I'll give you that. What else can't you argue with? You can't argue with the lightness, the comfort. It is really a comfy watch, but it's thick there, really thick, and it just protrudes off the wrist a little bit too much. Let me try it out for you and show you what I mean. Well, there's an example. So that's my Air King. Comfy, close to the wrist, it doesn't feel like it sticks up. Now when we put this on, see what I mean? That does look top heavy. It doesn't feel too top heavy because it is made of titanium, but well, you can see gaps through it. That's too much. So yeah, I said I'd talk about the negatives at the end, but I couldn't resist. That really does piss me off. So I just wish what they did is they took that back down and made it a little thinner. It doesn't have to be a 500 meter dive watch. It could be 300, it could be 200, it could be 475. Whatever it takes to make that watch thinner is what is going to make this watch a more wearable, more everyday watch for me. So that is a real shame, because if you take that off, look at that profile, it looks stunning. Fantastic. It would be a really good watch. 70-hour power reserve. Look at me just stroking my baby, it is stunning. But look at a 42 and a 42 mil. There's a big difference in size there, isn't it? It's like looking at a big brother and a little brother. So only 2 mil in it, but it's just the way it's designed, the ergonomics, it does make a massive difference. So yeah, it's a shame really, it is a shame. Can you tell I'm getting a bit downhearted about the Pelagos? Right, let's flip back. Right guys, so this is the Tudor Pelagos. It is one of the most complete watches I've ever owned, I've ever experienced. The build quality, the design, the technical capabilities. It does exactly what it says on the can, and I just think it is not just one of the best tool watches, one of the best dive watches, but one of the best watches out there, full stop. Let's talk about the negatives now. So, are they negatives? No. Would I recommend this watch? Absolutely. If you fancy the Pelagos, go out there, experience it, try it, you won't regret it. It's a fantastic watch, I love it. But the things I don't love about it, I feel like guilty saying this really, because I do and I have always liked the Pelagos, but the rubber strap, I love a freebie. I love the idea that you get a free rubber strap and it looks fantastic on it. But the problem is that when you do wear it, it goes around your wrist. Ideally, I'd want the, you know, proper clasp with it, not just a buckle. I think that's a bit crappy. But the main problem is that when you put the buckle to it, it's quite difficult to undo. It's very tough and sturdy. I've said that before. Tough and sturdy. So yes, it's going to last a lifetime as a rubber strap, but I'd like it to be a little bit more supple, a little bit softer. That's what I'd want out of this rubber strap. So not a letdown, just I wish it was a little bit different. The real negatives about this watch, and why, well, none of my watches are keepers, but why this one might not be a keeper, it is that thickness. It just sticks up off the wrist so high. I don't know if you can see, look at that again, you can see a gap. I can fit my finger through there, I can tighten it up, yeah. But if you look at that Air King, it just, yeah, it really does bug me. So it's just too wide. If they just shave the back off, and I don't know if it's to do with the movement or it's because it's a 500 metre dive watch, but I just wish it had a flatter case back, so when it protrudes out so much, that does bug me. Now it's officially a 42mm dive watch, but by all accounts, I think I've measured it twice, the actual case is 40mm. It's the bezel that's 42. That doesn't really make a difference because when you look down on the watch, it looks like you're looking at a 42mm watch. So I wish they'd make that profile a little bit thinner that way, up and down, and they just shrunk in the bezel to make the bezel not protrude over. I mean, if you clip that on something, you would probably pop it off. So yeah, shrink the bezel a little bit, thin it down that way, and divers extensions. What a load of tosh. They're absolutely useless in the modern world. So again, that's unnecessary. Maybe a Rolex Easy Link style would be more suited than a diver extension. So that annoys me. And although the micro adjustment is brilliant and it's an ingenious invention, I don't need the spring-loaded thing. I'd rather have more of the individual dots to make it you know, a better micro adjustment for me. So those things are pretty petty, they're pretty minor, but if you can't be 100% happy with a watch, what's the point in keeping it? You just, you know, I can sell it, trade it for a decent amount of money to be able to try something else. So I looked back on the Pelagos with rose tinted glasses. I've really enjoyed my experiences with it, but ultimately a Tudor, regardless of the build quality, being associated with Rolex, it's probably it's a good thing and a bad thing. The fact that they are associated excuse me, means you're going to get the build quality, but also you're always going to get that shadow looming over that it never will be a Rolex. Not that I'm a Rolex snob or a watch snob, I've got Citizens and all sorts in my collection, but there is that about Tudor as well. Although my next watch is probably going to be the Tudor GMT. I love that Pepsi GMT, and maybe I should have got it instead of this one, but I've had a great time with the Pelagos. I hope you enjoyed this video. Try and like and subscribe on this one. Jeez, you proper did me over on the last video. Right guys, have a good one. Over and out. I'll see you in the next one.